sort of this sort of price and this sort of horsepower. Might have to look for a mod, see if I can find a mod that has the sugar beet harvesters, tractor hauled sugar beet harvesters that we used to have available in prior versions of Farming Simulator, because they're ideal for, I used to run them on things like a 145 horsepower Massey Ferguson 5 Series. As far as farm equipment's going, I'm probably going to mostly limit myself to John Deere and Case. Unless something second-hand comes up that is quite obviously US available. So Kubota is available here, although not particularly frequent. New Holland is also available in the US, but there are none. I'm a little disappointed we don't have much in the way of, well, we don't have anything in the way of New Hollands. Large tractors, there's the T8. We don't have the T9 anymore. And there are no blue tractors. Oh, there's a T7. I didn't realize there was a T7. I kind of missed seeing that. But there's no T6. There's no T5. There's a methane-powered tracked thing. But it's like, yeah, we lost the T6 and that's a nice small tractor. And with the Case equipment, we got the Farmall C series, but we don't have any of the really small ones, which are kind of handy to have around. But we have this 8R, we have the Puma, I believe. We could get a Magnum. I did add a couple of mods, which you might have noticed down here. I don't need that one because I've got that one. I've got the Puma. 302 horsepower Puma. But I have added the 7200 Pro and also, actually that's not a Case, that's a Alice, which was a Giants mod based on the Challenger and the White. So I might get rid of one of those. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do generally like having at least one small tractor around to do things with. And we've got that. I guess Fendt, I've seen Fendts around the US. Not very frequently, but there is a farm in Sugar Creek that runs some very big Fendt equipment. So that's all a thing. But we started with John Deere equipment, so I'm going to assume that the local service facility is mostly John Deere Case. Kind of a weird option. Hang on a sec. Okay. So yeah, but new equipment, not a thing I need to worry too much about right now. Obviously, I've just bought 3 fields, so we need to get those at least ready. And the only thing I really need to do here is plough this field. Although that said, my cultivators are, my planters aren't all direct drills, so I might need, I've been saying I probably would like to get a cultivator so I can do cultivation jobs with my own equipment. But if I do that, then that will be, I'll be able to cultivate some of these fields prior to planting them. What do I have in the way of planters? In planters, I have this thing, which is not a direct drill, so I'm going to have to cultivate ground with that. With seeders, I have that thing. Yeah, that thing, which is a direct drill, so I am going to be able to plant stuff directly. So, but because I was going to go sorghum and the other thing, sorghum and soybeans, they're planted from planters now only. I believe they have been, previous versions of Farming Simulator, you could plant them with a planter. Seeder planter. Seeder. But you can only plant those with planters now, so I am going to need a cultivator, which there were some, there were some on sale. But I probably missed my opportunity. Yeah. Okay, next time a cultivator comes up, I need to pick it up. Because as soon as the snow goes away and it becomes planting season, I need to get out there and do the things. Anyway, this is 2 more. This row and the next row, and then we're on the headlands. Good, good, good. Anyway. That up. Last row. Oop. Just a little bit. Okay, that might be another bit that I've got to go back and do. As I said, this will get, needs ploughed, which increases yield. This tractor is an R8. Actually, it doesn't tell me that. There. Come on, there. Vehicles, John Deere, R8. John Deere pickup, wait, okay. 7, R8. It's a 420 horse, so I can get myself a really big shallow cultivator. We'll get a shallow one. We don't want to disturb the soil too much, although we will get penalised for doing it. And we are... Okay. There. Turn that on, and off we go on 3 headlands. Go. Come on, tractor. It's not really a heavy snowstorm because we're not getting much settling snow on the ground I've worked. I mean, the road immediately to my right was the first one we did, and it's still not covered in snow. So, kind of a mild snowstorm in Missouri this morning. But then once we're done with January, once this is done, we're done with January. I just got to keep an eye on jobs, and there's a cultivating job, there's a ploughing job, another ploughing job. So yeah, if suddenly a good paying job comes up, or a cultivator that costs less than 80,000, and some cultivating jobs would be nice. Don't know if what we're doing here, does that, oh, wrong button, that button, that button, that button. So soil composition, this one. We are making a seed bed, so these might actually be plantable with our planter already. These 2 are ploughed, so I might have to go back and cultivate them before we can plant anything in them. Although if I'm doing wheat, that's a direct drill, so I don't have to. We don't have to plough them. Okay. Well, we shall see. Keep going that way and pull up the map. So that's the smaller of these 2 fields. I think if I do sugar beets, I'm going to do them in that field. I can do possibly, I don't know, maybe wheat on that field, because again it's a small field and I'm really doing it from the straw, not for the wheat. Then I'll do this field and the field that had wheat last year. We'll do those as sorghum, and the cornfield last year we'll do as soybeans this year. So lots of things and stuff. That good. Drop that and off we go. So yeah, we are. Oh, and the grass is, what's the word for it? Germinated. I also had an opportunity to spray it with some fertilizer. So that field is as good as it's going to get before we mow it in spring. Plans are, if the weather behaves itself, the spring cut will be hay, the summer cut will probably be hay, and the fall cut will be wrapped silage, grass silage stuff. Really depends on how much hay we make. The problem is we are going through hay really quickly. I'm sort of a little bit worried that we might run out before spring. Especially soon, well, before the spring cut, especially since we're not going to be able to cut the grass until April, May. which is getting towards the end of spring, beginning of summer. Then second cut is round about August, September, and third cut is November. Alrighty. Do that, do that, and off we go. So we need to, yeah, we've still got 6 more months before we can have any hay, any more hay available. But we do have a fair supply over there. Also, the grass silage that we have, we got a lot of that. I think because we then had the first cut we made the hay from, we didn't have any opportunity to improve the yields. So we got what we got. And then that second cut, which I wrapped, I got it fertilized. So it was an increased yield, quite significantly increased yield. And then hopefully now we've ploughed, we've fertilized, I've limed all the fields. I leased the spreader and we gave that back. I have not checked these fields for lime though, which might be a bit of an oversight. Guess we'll find out later. That's all a precision farming thing. So how is... So these fields all look great. Well, mostly somewhat great. Oh, it looks like these aren't going to need too much in the way of lime, but they are going to need to get done. So we're still scoring high on soil sampling. Tillage is bad. pH is bad. pH and nitrogen will not update until we harvest next year. So August, September. We'll start seeing a boost in environmental bonus or environmental score for the farm, which will be good. A little bit on. Drop that down and off we go. Okay, one more lap after this one and we are done with the ploughing for, I would guess, a year. And I was saying that I was pretty sure that there were some manure spreaders that would also lime. And I did find a couple of mod ones. I don't think I added them. Let's have a look. They're under manure spreaders. I do not have any mod manure. Oh, actually. Oh, because that's a thing. But these are all purely manure. But there are some mod manure spreaders that will also spread lime. At this stage, I'm not sure I'm going to get too much into spreading solid manure. I might just stick to liquid manure. The thing is every every function that I add to the farm's capabilities involves another piece of equipment. So if I want to cultivate, I need to buy a cultivator. If I want to roll, I need to buy a roller. Same with a mulcher. Same with slurry spreading. If I want to spread slurry, I'm going to have to buy a slurry spreader. And they're not cheap. And then if I want to... no, that's fine. Going to do this. There we go. Yeah, so if I want to spread manure, I have to buy a manure cart, and I'm not sure if I want to actually do that at this stage. Eventually, maybe, but I might just buy a half pipe and use that to cart sugar beets and manure to places. And we can always sell the manure at the BGA, and if we own the BGA, then we have access to the digestate that would produce, and digestate goes in a slurry tank, so I can use that to pre-nitrogenate the soil before planting. That's generally what I do. I need to learn what the nitrogen levels are for each of the crops, and once I have that figured out, I can lay a little bit of natural fertilizer on the field to get us in the ballpark, plant the crop, and then just run around and spray it very lightly to get ideal nitrogen levels and thus best production, yield, whatever you call it. That thing we're chasing. So, oops, go forwards. Forwards is a brilliant idea. Okay, so last lap. Problem is I think, yeah, there's a little drainage ditch down there, so we are a little bit separated from our farm. I'm going to have to go across the bridge there. Or I think there's a bridge up there which would take me over to those fields. We'll see. These subsoilers are not fast pieces of equipment. That's the thing. We get ourselves a cultivator. We'll be able to do this at about 9, 10, 12 miles an hour. So it will take a little less time. It'll take a lot less time because they also have larger working widths as well. But I can't do a bigger subsoiler unless I get myself something like a quad track or a 9 RT RX sort of vehicle. Oh, wiped out some snow. Crazy. So anyway, yeah, there's a frozen ditch down there I don't really want to get stuck in, so I can't just nip across there. Some trees, yeah. We might even get into some logging later, although not as a massive thing. $6 miles an hour. Ooh. So, I wonder if it'll pick up any of the UK Special Police Task Force, because I was ranting about the British government and their complete cluelessness on how to run a country last week. And, they just created an internet task force to look up people, or look for people who are criticising the UK government or saying mean words about things. So I'm sure they're all watching, so I should say hi. I could also say stop persecuting the farmers, because that's also a thing. It also appears that Britain's Labour government seem to be that unusual group of people who believe that I don't know why we have farmers growing things, because all you have to do is go to the store and buy stuff at the store. There are people in the world who believe that. I want to stay over here. Yes. And then cut between these two fields. So that's all of our fields that need... Wow. Is it me, or has the snow picked up? Or am I driving faster, so I'm now looks like I'm driving through a blizzard? Anyway, so... Yes, our 3 starting fields all needed to be ploughed, and that one field needed to be ploughed. So I think with the hay, I had 1.5 rows of bales, maybe a little bit more than half. With silage, I've got 2 full rows and a partial. That was almost a full row as well. So